Morning, everybody, and welcome to the Allegheny County Board of Property Assessment Appeals and Review for January 18, 2024. Mr. Sankey, I just have
This, we have a,
oh, I'm sorry. We now have
secretary.
a new secretary, which is Michelle Fanzo.
All right, Mr. Ferguson?
If you would please call the meeting to order, call roll call.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes, I'm here. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Snipe?
Here.
Ms. Montgomery, is she here? Mr. Zuli?
Here.
Ms. Thornton Lara? Here. And I'm here.
Do we have,
We have four.
okay, we do have a quorum. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see, approval for the regular meeting minutes, December 19th, January 2nd, December 19th of 2023, January 2nd of 2024. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve the meeting minutes from December 19th and January 2nd.
Second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Public comment period. Do we have members of the public who wish to speak? Good morning, sir, and
Good morning.
please introduce yourself.
Really quick, are we no longer having signups for public, just so we know who's
We
speaking?
can go back to, we were
I
away
would-
from it for a
Yeah, I would
while.
appreciate going back to that, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
My name is John Silvestri. I represent the owner of 5150 Penn Avenue, City of Pittsburgh. I am here because I'm asking that you make the extra effort to get rid of the pending heard City of Pittsburgh appeals. The owner of this particular property has a 3-year-old and a toddler below a 3-year-old. They live in the neighborhood. They're a family. They bought a property really not knowing what they got into. It's worth less than they paid for it. They got jacked up with the unconstitutional inflated assessment. So this is their appeal to get it down. What I've heard from families is that they're paying an extra $1,000 in mortgage from the inflated assessments that were imposed on them. It's not your fault you didn't do that. It was the incompetence or corruption in government. These are families who are absolutely being killed. The lack of a reassessment in the disadvantaged economic areas, McKeesport, everyone in the Mon Valley, they are paying double what they should be in taxes. So I ask you to be sensitive and go to those City of Pittsburgh ones that are getting their tax bills now, and just please make the extra effort, even though the administration has destroyed a lot of people's lives.
Thank you, Mr. Silvestri. Duly noted, and I assure you, we are working diligently to do that. Do we have any other members of the public? Anybody online?
Mr. Fargenstein, there's
Yes.
someone in the waiting room.
Who's that?
There's someone in the waiting room of the meeting.
Okay, hold on one moment. Let everybody in.
Anybody?
Everybody was in, that's why I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Mary Beth and
Waiting room. Oh. Let me get over here. 5150 Penn.
Yes, lot 50 R 311.
Is that Lasson's?
Yeah, it's Lasan, go ahead, let her in. I'll be waiting.
Okay,
she was waiting.
we just, I'm sorry.
She in?
She's
There we
in.
go.
There she
Morning,
is.
Ms. Montgomery. Sorry for
Good morning.
And let the minutes reflect that Ms. Montgomery joined the meeting at 8:07
Thank you.
due to our incompetence on
Me?
Teams.
We're getting there. If there's nobody else who wants to make a comment, we'll move on to solicitor's report.
The solicitors are not requesting any action today, just some updates from the board of what we've been working on. We've been working on ways to streamline some processes, to make some things a little bit more efficient. In the next few weeks, once my laptop actually, and I can get on it and work on it, I would like to have a little session with the board to go over what actually happens on IAS and how the file goes through the process, so that the board has an idea of what that process entails. I think that would be very useful. It would also, then also we can brainstorm, and the board can brainstorm to see if there's ideas that they can come up with that could make the process more efficient. So.
All right, thank you. Anything else?
Oh, one more, board hearing officer training will be coming up. We'll be scheduling that. It'll probably be sometime in March. I would welcome board members to attend that. I would welcome the Office of Property Assessment to attend it. It is useful. Also, the hearing officers get to see you, get to meet you, get to know you. So.
I don't know if you know this, but David Montgomery and I had a little back and forth when he was here, and we provided funding, $4,000. Barbara, you remember that?
I do know
Please
what
let me
that's about,
finish,
sure.
okay? And we didn't approve you to do the training. If you want to do that today, fine, but you just can't. You're our solicitor. You know, if the board wants you to do the training, fine. You know, are you going to use the materials you sent to us?
Mike, so you understand what that training is about? It's to teach them how to use IAS. It's
Okay.
to teach them legally what they have to say at a hearing. It's to teach them how to use FTR Gold. It's to
Well, we've
teach
been doing that for years, right? The
And we
same
have a
thing,
training every beginning of every year, because we do have newer hearing officers.
with the same results.
Well, things are going to be different.
And Mr. Montgomery has done that training every year, just
Yeah, he told me that.
so.
Yeah. Okay, so board's fine with it. How many hours? What is, can you send the outline or?
Yeah, well, once the PowerPoint is prepared, I'm happy to share it with everyone. I mean,
Yeah.
I've invited you all to come. I'm not hiding anything
Yeah.
at all. I think it's useful to, and it's really, from my perspective, it's the legal idea of assessment and what Board of Property Assessment is, what their role is as a hearing officer, how.
See, here's what I'm concerned about. Those solicitors, I've told you about a state law, right? Did you read the law?
I have read the law, and it
2018
does not apply to Allegheny County.
Well, why couldn't it apply if we just said, let's do it?
This board can do whatever it would like, but hearing officers do not value property, Mr. Sully. That's not their job.
What do they do? Tell me what they did.
Hearing officers weigh evidence and make a recommendation to this board in order to decide whether an appeal had merit.
Do they recommend the value?
They do recommend a value,
Then,
based on the evidence presented at a hearing,
correct.
no different than the Board of Viewers does.
All right, so no one on this board is interested in what I've been talking about what 65 other counties do, which is basic training that is given to appeals boards across the state. We're just going to continue to do what we've always done. Am I right?
I believe, Mr. Silva, you had, when you first mentioned this, and at least once or twice afterwards, said you were going to produce the information.
I did. It was up on the screen.
When was it? What do you mean?
In October, I put the AAP site up with the outlines, and everybody went, yeah, that's good. And then a week later, Dave Montgomery said, well, let's, because I made a motion that we comply with the state law and that Allegheny County mirror what that law says. Nobody seconded that. You weren't here, so, you know, but no one would second that. I just want that out there on the record.
Because, Mike, we're already in compliance with the law.
Right.
Okay?
No, we're
It
not.
doesn't- we are, Mike.
We are.
So
we're not
There
gonna
are thousands of appeals that haven't been.
Mike, we're not gonna argue back and forth about the funding. We went over it, we agreed to fund it. But we are not required. Allegheny County is exempt from that. And if you wanna go back and read it, you're welcome to. You know, this isn't to argue back and forth. We're trying to be progressive and get things accomplished. And we appreciated that idea that you presented to us. Training's gonna be had. But trying to disrupt the board isn't gonna get anything accomplished, Mike. Please. That's all I'm asking you to do.
You know what, you're
Cooperative.
disrupting taxpayers with all these delays.
And
No, we've talked about this before the meeting, and it's, you know, so an attorney was quoted in the paper, said we're borderline corrupt. The solicitor for the Pittsburgh School District said the train is off the tracks. You know, can't someone take that seriously? Criticism isn't bad. You know, I'm a member of the board. I was concerned about how we do business back in October. And, you know, I have some items on the agenda. Mr. Silvestri brought up Pittsburgh. I thought we gave Mr. Farbenstein a directive to get those out before certification. We have the chief assessor here, Mr. Fabian. You certified last week.
Yes.
Can you explain briefly to this group what that means? And
We certify the values for 2024 based on all the work that was done during the year. If there were any hearing decisions, they're in there and they haven't been challenged across the street, then they go forward. Permits that were complete, catastrophic loss,
so in summary,
exemptions.
you notify all the taxing bodies,
Yes.
municipalities. So the city of Pittsburgh now has, as of last Friday, certified values that don't include what we're going to approve today. Am I right?
I believe so, but you
Okay.
have to verify.
So the city will send out tax bills based on what you certified, correct? Isn't that how it works?
Why don't they ask?
I used to manage OPM. That's how it works.
Okay.
That's why we
You'd have to
certify.
ask Carolyn that to make sure.
Yeah, Carolyn, is that true? Carolyn Brooks?
Yes, the certified numbers have gone to each taxing body.
So tax bills will go out in the city over the next few weeks. Today, we will approve some appeals that were not included in the certification. And I will ask Lori Brown this question. Lori, when would the dispositions go out on what we certify today?
They'll go out today, once you all sign off on the list that I believe Ms. Sowers has provided. The disposition letters go out every Thursday after the board meeting.
Yeah. Okay. Here's what my concern is, and why, you know, I always ask that there be a sense of urgency about getting this work done. A week ago, you certified, the chief assessor certified for the city of Pittsburgh, here's a number on all the taxable properties in the county. A week later, they're going to receive hundreds, maybe thousands of Pittsburgh residents will receive over the next month dispositions that are contrary to what you just certified. That's how it works. That is why this board has to come up with a way of getting its work done in that calendar year prior. And I have it on the agenda, Mr. Fargenstein. December 7th, I talked about the importance of getting the Pittsburgh properties done before the chief assessor certified. How do you think we did?
We got through most of them.
No, we didn't.
That-
I was here on
That's
January
the table.
2nd. We
Right.
didn't approve many Pittsburgh properties.
You and I
What
both
you
worked on
certified.
that basket, as well as others.
No, I'm talking about the board. Did the board deliver on that directive to you to get the Pittsburgh properties out?
We got
You know,
many
if I
as
gave you the number,
physically possibly could.
I'm gonna ask Ms. Brown, how many Pittsburgh properties are remaining for disposition approximately? Lori Brown?
Say that again, I apologize.
Sure. I'm going to ask you two questions. I'll start
Okay.
with the other one. One question. On December 21st, you couldn't give me a number on what would be remaining to be disposed. And you promised to get back to the board with that number. I talked to Mr. Fargenstein, everyone before the meeting. We still haven't received that one number. I said that I thought there was a universe of about 9,000. You said I was wrong. You were quoted in the newspaper saying that.
Yes,
Somebody was listening in. You said close to 4,000. We have approved after today about 3,000. So if it's 4, we only have 1,000 to go. Is that right?
so if I'm looking at the appeals board report, all of those appeals that are listed at 03A were 2023, 2022Y, 2022A, 2021. We're looking at
So you didn't go back and look at the numbers?
No, I
after-
didn't, but I provided
You're
it
doing it
in the
now?
monthly. I provided it in the report that you received. If you
Yeah,
read
but
the
I'm asking you one question.
No,
Is
I
there a
didn't.
universe of
No, I didn't.
3,000 more appeals to be resolved? I'm a board member asking that. That's a legitimate question by one of the board
And I
members.
answered legitimately by saying, no, I didn't. But again, if you look at the report and you do the math as I do,
Do
we
it.
have a total of 1804 that looks like they're all at 03A as of the time this report was run.
Okay. That doesn't help me.
Can I make a
Well,
recommendation?
you wanted the total.
No, I'm asking
I'd like to make a
questions.
recommendation that we,
Board recognizes Mr. Snyder.
I'd like to make a recommendation that Mr. Sully's questions, that we have an executive session to address Mr. Sully's concerns.
No, I won't accept that.
I'm recommending that.
Mr. Snight, you and Mr. Fargenstein have been working at me, not with me, for the last 3 months. And I've asked, let me finish, Mr. Chairman, let me finish. I've asked one question for 3 months. What is the universe of appeals that need to be resolved? I'm going to ask the 2 new board members. Do you have any idea how many are left?
No.
Do you? Michelle?
Ms. Brown mentioned 1804.
Okay, I don't believe that number. Should I take that
Ms.
to the
Brown,
bank?
Ms. Brown, do you have the number that Mike's asking for?
I gave it to you. There at all the appeals that are at 03A status are the appeals that should be dispositioned today.
That is.
Those are the
my
things
question.
that those are the
That
things
wasn't my
that the
question.
board is going
So
to
what
sign
number-
off on.
Ms. Brown, what number is that? Can you tell us, please?
That is the 1804.
Yeah, right.
And those are for tax
Okay.
years 2021 through 2023. And they include, again, both the 2022A, the 2022Y records, the 23A records, and I apologize, the 2021A record.
So
Can you give me one number,
after today, what will be left?
Thank you.
Okay, so after today, we have.
So after today, Lori, wouldn't it be that we would take the 03As and they would go into 04As, correct?
Correct.
So if you take off the count that is there for 04As after today, I'm sorry, for 03As after today, those would be added to the 04As.
Plus the appeal.
Correct.
And what's that number?
So it's on the appeals report. I'm not sure. Lori did email that out. If you look at the 22As currently for the 03As, we have 57. For the 22Ys for 03As, we have 446. And for 2023, we have 1,103 O3A. So that is what you will approve today, that dispositions will be sent out for this week. And those will
Right,
move
so
into
what
the
after
O4A
today,
category.
after today, what's left?
Whatever
just
you
said.
have in the O2A status is what will be left. In addition to the ones that have not been heard yet.
And how many is that? 1,000? 4,000? I need to know where we are and where we're going.
Well, that's why we provide the hearing officer, I'm sorry,
Well, this
the
is why
board
we have
reports
public
to give a
meetings.
breakdown of each status. That's why
Yes.
we provide
And
them to give everybody an idea of where they're at.
we're at the same place we were on December 21st, when I asked the same question that Ms. Montgomery just asked, and we're not getting one answer. All
The
I wanna
answer
know-
is in the the board report, Mike. The answer is there. That's why we produce those every
I
meeting.
want a number from the appeals manager or the OPA manager of what's left. You're the person that I trust to count these appeals. I want to be able to tell the public, our work isn't done. We still have thousands of appeals left. And I will continue to do that until I get one number. The only number I had confidence in, I read in the newspaper. And some of the board members said, you can't. And I called the reporter, and the reporter said they called the administration to get that number. They went
The
over
numbers that
our
we
head.
provide come from this report here, Mike.
Yeah, but
Those are the numbers we will
Brown
provide to
told
anyone
me-
who asks us.
Carolyn, Ms. Brown told me that she didn't give the numbers to the Buzz Gazette. Did you give the numbers to the Buzz Gazette?
I'm sorry, Ms. Brown said what?
At a public meeting, she said she didn't give the
She did
universal.
not. We
Okay,
would not. No,
so,
we cannot just talk to the Post Gazette. If we give anything to the Post Gazette, it comes from our communications director.
well, the reporter told me he got it from Amy Downs in the county executive's office. And that's the only number that I looked at that I believed was gospel, and it was 20,000 at the time. So I didn't.
So Mike, can we try to move forward? Can Ms. Brooks and Ms. Brown,
we know where we are.
that's what we're trying to get. So Ms. Brooks and Ms. Brown, can you please give us the number? I'm having trouble trying to add these different pages together. Can we please give a number after we approve what Carrie sent, after we approve what's been done today, what is still outstanding?
Liz Hans,
Can
do you
we-
have your copy of the board report there? This is
I
Mary
do,
Beth.
it's right here. It's right here.
Okay, so I'm going to read them off and you can add them up on whatever device you would like to use. So for 2023, the appeals that the board has already reviewed, but they are not ready to be disposed, those are O2As.
But
So
no,
for 2020,
I want to be sure that we're looking at the number that's going to be left after today.
okay, so
After
there
we-
is no one number that we can provide you because they are in different categories.
My question is
So-
illogical, is that right?
Your question is not one that can be answered with a single number.
Okay.
So if you want to follow along, I
Allegheny
will show
County has
you.
no
Yeah,
idea
I
how
just
many
want to be
appeals
sure
we
that
have.
we're not going through this and then we're going to say after today. I want to be sure that the number we're going to come up with is the number that's left after today.
Okay, if you want everything that's not finished yet, after today, we have to add up the numbers that are in 0000, the numbers that are in suspend, and the numbers that are in O2A for each year. So which answer you want, which bucket we want to review. The ones that are O2A have already been heard. So those are waiting for your case reviewers, BPAAR's case reviewers, to finish them up and have the next level of review by the board. So there's two different categories. There's those that haven't been heard yet, and there's those that haven't been finalized.
And there are
So
still hearings pending, correct?
there are less than 1,000 hearings that haven't been
Okay,
heard.
there's a number, okay.
Okay, and that is on the paperwork that was provided to you.
Yeah, but that's what I want is, and I thank Board Member Montgomery for joining me. You're the first board member to look at it the way Mike looks at it. All I want to know is what is the universe of properties out there that need to be disposed of by this board for 2020, let me finish, 2022 and 2023. And Ms. Brown told me on the 21st, she would have that number.
So Mike,
And here we are today, reading reports and all this silly
provide
stuff.
the hearing officer report as our solid number. These numbers change day to day as hearing officers are listening to hearings, as case reviewers are doing their jobs, which means the statuses change constantly. So to get a snapshot, that's the reason why Lori Brown runs these numbers and provides them in this board report for each meeting.
And what I'm
So
saying
whatever
is,
we say
Carolyn, that
today,
is not enough.
whatever we say today,
I'm holding up a
whatever we
folder.
say today will change after the course of business today.
Yeah, I agree. Carolyn, I'm holding up a folder. I brought in 4 folders. And Barbara, how many of these folders are in the file cabinets to be worked on by case reviewers? 10, 20, 30?
I would say between 20 and 30.
How many are in a folder? All I want to know is when do we get to the end game? That's all I want to know. I'm finished. I just hope to get the number today.
I can't promise that you're gonna get the number today, but we will have the number too. Don't gonna interrupt me.
I'll wait.
Thank you. I will meet with them.
Good.
And we will get your number as soon as I possibly can, definitely by our next meeting.
Okay.
All right?
So the taxpayers, I will continue to tell them we have no idea how many bills are out there
Who
until.
nominated you to even address the taxpayers?
I'm here for the taxpayers.
We're all here
No,
for
you're
the
not.
taxpayers.
No, you're not.
We have
place
been
is so
for many
mismanaged.
more years than you have.
I know, and that's the problem.
No, sir.
You're
The
gonna
problem
do
was removed
business
when
as
you were
usual.
removed.
It's
So,
business.
so Mike, are we all, do we all
Yes.
agree? Or is the number acceptable that less than 1,000 hearings are still outstanding? Is that what you're
Yeah.
after?
Yeah, that means there will be dispositions on most of them. Yeah, maybe some could withdraw, but I'm still saying there's a universe of thousands. And same with the city.
Thousands of what, Mike? Thousands of what?
Pardon me?
There's a universe of thousands of what?
Appeals that need to be resolved.
Have
I
been
read these
heard,
reports
wait,
too.
have been heard, and we're still waiting for reviewers to review
Yes,
them?
yes.
What are you saying when you say resolved?
Yes.
Reviewers to review them, disposition. If you send out 10 dispositions, that's 10 properties that have been resolved. It's simple math. But I've been waiting for 100 days to get one number. Oh, read the report. No, everyone else is reading the report and no one can give me a number. It's ridiculous. I'm done.
So, Ms. Brooks and Ms. Brown, is there another number that's higher than the
No.
1,000
board
of hearings?
report- The board report states what's left. The board report comes straight from the system based on the day-to-day activity. So what
Right,
is
but is that
submitted
number-
during the,
Is that number the number that reviewers still have not reviewed?
yes,
That we've
again,
already signed off on, or where are we at?
the breakdown is in the board report. You have 5,622 2023 annual appeals that are at O2A, which means they've been heard. You have 1,103 2023 appeals that are sitting at O3A. That breaks down everything. O2A means it's been heard by a hearing officer. O3A means it's pending a disposition. O4A means it's already had a decision. Those are the numbers.
So Carolyn, what you're saying is 4,000, 5,000 remaining?
That O2A number, which is 5,622, those are remaining. Those haven't had a decision yet, and those are not at O3A status, which would be on your court review list today.
All right, see, my concern, we're gonna certify today. I found one property in Upper St. Clair and I'll say this to our chief assessor, you certified the number last week. We're going to reduce that assessment in Upper St. Clair by $4 million. Okay? Within a week, there's going to be a disposition and a certified number, a week apart. And then over the next, we don't have any more hearing meetings in January, so now we're into February with thousands of appeals. And that's what I've been saying since my first week here. We have to get this done. I'm finished.
Moving on.
Mr. Ferguson, I wasn't complete with my report. We kind of
Please.
got derailed.
Thank
And
you.
just for clarification, Mr. Sully, I believe that your motion and it was before I became the solicitor, was for the board to receive that training for $4,000. It was for board members to receive training, but we'll have to check. I don't think it was for here. I believe $4,000 would have covered the board, just cost-wise. I mean, we have 50 hearing officers. I don't imagine $4,000 will cover 50 hearing officers of training. I will check the minutes, but I believe that it was for the board members to receive training through that system. And
I was the one that came up with the 4,000
but
for my program.
I just believe that's what the motion stated, just for clarity purposes.
We will get them trained. We're all on the same page there.
Yeah.
That every board members and hearing officers need training.
For sure.
Period.
Sure.
We're all in agreement, right? Okay.
And that's why I think like learning about the system in a little informational session would be very helpful for the board. Because then as we're talking about this 04A, 02A, you'll understand where that comes from.
One last thing, Ms. Brooks, Carolyn Brooks, known you a long time. I talked to you in October about the possibility of having us apply the common level ratio to our market values. Have you talked to Tyler about this?
We have ongoing conversations. Once we have something that we can present to you all in regards to what Tyler is telling us, we will do so.
Now, Carolyn, I told you at the time, we have one person that I'm aware of, Frank Beschley, a hearing officer, doing it manually, one by one. A county this size, that's how we apply the common level ratio on each piece of paper. Please get back to Mr. Fargenstein when you get an answer. Thank you, Carolyn.
Mike, we all agreed that it was a great idea and it appears that it's being pursued. We thought it was a great idea, and if it could be applied, we all agreed at that time when you initially brought it up that it was a great idea.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Montgomery.
That is all I have. Thank you. Sorry to have waylaid us for a half an hour.
All right. Appeals Department report, Ms. Brown.
Okay, good morning. So you have in front of you the appeals report for tax years 2020 through 2024. We are continuously receiving appeals that have been filed for 2024. Currently, we have 119 that have been filed, and of that, we have an additional 48 that came through last night, I believe. I think it's 48. So we're going to continue to enter those, review them so that they can get on the schedule for hearings beginning in April.
Okay.
We have one parcel. It is actually typed in error. It should be, for the record, parcel 444G, not J, 187. And it was a case where the property has been disposed, but the representative for the owner was not called. Her phone number was added after the hearing had taken place, but she did get the phone number into OPA in a timely manner. So we're asking that that parcel be reheard so that the representative can take part in the hearing.
I just had a question for Ms. Brown. So you did say that the disposition went out already?
Yes, let me see if I see the notice date. Yeah, it went out on the 7th of December.
Just for clarification, Ms. Brown, is that administrative breakdown on behalf of the county?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right,
You need a motion?
Yes.
I make a motion to rehear, or what do we need to do? Just correct the 440?
reissue?
It's a rescind and rehear.
Okay, here, okay, thank you.
It's a
You have to
rescind and
rescind
yeah, it's
first.
a rescind and a rehear.
I
And
make a
excuse
motion to
me.
rescind and rehear 444 G 187.
Second,
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved.
And
Ms.
that is for tax year 2022.
2022, right. And did Howard put that in his email? I can't remember because this came across from Howard. The request came
Yes,
from.
it did, but like I said, it had the wrong parcel ID listed.
Okay, so that's why it was incorrect in the email. Tax year 2022.
All right,
Thank you.
anything further?
No, that's it.
Thank you very much for your time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Items for consideration from the board, Ms. Baldwin, board
We skipped
administrator.
over OPA.
I'm sorry?
We skipped over OPA.
Oh, I'm sorry, apologize. Items from OPA, Ms. Brooks.
Yes, Highway, we do have a resend and reissue for parcel ID 1823K45.
Okay,
The hearing officer added building value onto this property during the hearing process for tax year 2022. However, it should have been a builder's lot for 2022, and there should be building value added for 2023.
I move that we accept that request for 1823K45. Is that correct, Carolyn?
Yes.
I'll second.
thank you. All in favor?
Second.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Anything else, Ms. Brooks?
That is it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to the board administrator, Ms. Baldwin.
Okay, I have one, and this one was brought to our attention by Ms. Liz McGraw as she was processing, as she was in the case file review process, and this became known. So it is we have a rescind and reissue request for 16E10 for tax year 2022. It was a timely filed school district appeal for 2022 and 2023. Disposition notices were mailed with incorrect values. So the values that went out was 79,400, and this was for land only. And the value should have been 50,400. So we're looking for the board to approve the rescind and reissue.
Thank you. I have a motion, please.
Motion to rescind and reissue parcel number 16E10.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Again, so moved. Anything else, Ms. Baldwin? All right, board revised hearing officer approval list, beginning with tax year 2021, parcel ID 1267 and Nancy 130. It's our first list. Tax year 2022, first parcel ID 84C46. Our next list for 2022Y, first parcel ID number 1067R275. And last tax year 2023, first parcel ID 556 Edward 11.
I would move that we bundle those and approve them today.
First,
Is there any more?
Polls or recusals?
yes, I need to do polls and
Oh.
recusals. Mr. Simon,
None for me.
Ms. Montgomery. Polls and
None
recusals.
for me.
Thank you. Ms. Panzo,
None.
Mr. Sully,
None?
Ms. Lamara,
None.
and none from myself. Motion, please.
Mr. Sully made it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there was no second.
I'll second.
Okay, good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And any opposed? All in, we have approved the 4 list. Thank you. Do we have any old business to review? Any new business? I believe, Mr. Sully, you have 3 items up on here. Any that we have not already addressed?
Well, it's a question I've been asking, how many appeals does each board member sign off on? And up until today, I've been told we don't do that. That's correct.
That is correct.
And moving forward, we will.
Moving
You
forward, we have created a process to streamline so that each board member, when a hearing officer hears a file, they will assign it to a board member in IAS.
So we will be able to count.
Now, that's how many are assigned to you. Now, let me be honest, if something would, let's say, Mike, you'd be in the hospital and Mr. Snipe would pick up some of your files, they wouldn't get changed in the system. They would still show that they were assigned to you.
And that's the problem. Is there any way we can do that electronically?
Without adding an extra step to our case file reviewers, which is our backlog problem as it sits, we would just be adding an extra step for them to change board members.
For now, I'll accept it, okay? That's good. But the case reviewers, I've learned a lot since I've been here about what the case reviewers do, and it's fine, okay? But they're hearing officers.
Correct.
Is there any way on the form, Mike Sully can see if Wade, who was the hearing officer, I already know who he is. But if Susan was the case reviewer, could we have a check off on our form? So I know who checked my work product and vice versa.
They actually initial them. They initial the hearing officer reports.
Okay, but I never see that.
Yes,
right?
they do. Well, once they're complete, so
Yeah.
like, let's take a case that went to 04A today, that got disposed out. If you asked for that packet, you would see all kinds of.
So I'm
people's initials
permitted
on it.
access to those files? Yes?
Sure.
Okay,
Public record.
because I received a memo saying I wasn't.
And they're in OnBase,
I know.
so you could log onto your computer and go into OnBase and look at any of the ones.
So
you want.
moving forward, will I be able to count how many hearing officers signed off on an appeal? Is there a way, I'm not saying
Well,
we have to do this now.
Well, let me explain to you the
Yeah.
process, which might help. So the hearing officer who reviews the file signs off on the hearing officer report. That's also in IAS under
Correct.
their hearing officer number. Mr. Vesci applies the CLR manually. He does that in green. You'll see
I know
the
that.
green numbers, and that's Frank's numbers. And that's why he does it in green, because it's a different number. You all sign off in red, so we know that was a board member. Case file reviewers use ink pens, like I have in my hand, and they put their initials when they review.
So to answer my question, down the road, is there any way I can see electronically, Amy did 1,400 case reviews? That's all.
I honestly don't know the answer to that question, because I don't have
Maybe we can explore that with Carolyn down the road.
or once I get on IAS and I'm able to play with the system, I'll be able to give you a better answer.
Okay, all right. Regarding the audit, I'm not there. I'm fine, I'm good. We're all good. Okay.
All right, and again, before we close out here, I also would like to mention the passing of Mr. Vesci's mother over the weekend, if you're not aware. If
Very
you
sad.
want to contact him, please feel free to do so. He tells me that he shall be returning back to work next Monday.
Good man.
All right, all said and done, I call for the adjournment of
Move to
the
adjourn.
Lorraine County Board of Property Assessment Appeals and Review for January 18th, 2024. I thank you for your attendance.
See you, it's on. Everyone else. Mr. Chief Assessor, is there any reason why the other people don't come here anymore?
I don't know.
Okay,
I know I,
they haven't been given a directive from somebody else, right? Yeah, just curious. But it was good to see you.
I know this is killing trees, but if anyone would like the reports on single pages as opposed to, two-sided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're still
Sorry.
actually recording and transcribing.
Appreciate it. All right, thank you. Barbara, should I give these the list? These are all finished. I did these in home.
Actually, they go to